Next month's CPI report, or the CPI report for the month of March, is going to come in most likely in the lower twos, maybe even 2%. And why do I say that? Well, if you go to a website called trueflation.com, what you will see is their measure of actual inflation. And what you'd find on that website is the last 2 days of February, the actual rate of inflation cratered on those 2 days, and it's currently right now around 1.5%. Now, there is no connection between Trueflation and the powers that be that measure the rate of inflation that they want you to believe is real, but there is certainly a correlation between the numbers that you'll find on that website and the numbers that are presented to you. And so a lot of questions can be asked as a result of this probability that we're going to see inflation much lower next month. An easy question that you might be tempted to ask is, wait a second, I thought tariffs were supposed to cause massive amounts of inflation. Well, sure, you know what? In principle, a tariff, it makes sense. An increase, a tax on a product that you are trying to buy is going to have an effect on the overall market and cause prices to rise. But there's a lot of other factors in place. There's budgeting from those who are affected by tariffs. There's lots of things that have nothing to do with tariffs. And in particular, things like the Department of Government Efficiency, lots of job cuts. I mean, I personally have a friend who is probably going to lose his job because of Doge stuff. And, you know, he's pretty conservative, so he's actually cheering it on. I'm not going to worry about him at all. But there's a broader effect that this has, that all of these things have, that we can't measure. No economist would ever sit here and say that they have every bit of information. And so those who have been warning about the potential effects of inflation with the tariffs, I mean, they're doing so with partial information. But the thing that I really want to talk about when we're considering the possibility, the likelihood that inflation is coming down, and it's much lower now than what a lot of people thought it would be, is what kind of an effect does that have on the decisions that the Federal Reserve is going to make? Because right now, the federal funds rate is between 4.25 and 4.50, 4.25% and 4.5%. So if inflation is coming down, they won, right? So they won, and what are they going to do next? They won, by the way, they're most likely going to be accelerating rate cuts. So what does that mean for the rest of this year? I don't know. It might accelerate some things as far as my timeline is concerned. Now, most of you know I'm not a bull for the end of 2025, but I'm very bullish for after that, after rates are in a more ideal position and then the money print is turned on. Does this mean that, all right, you know what? End of 2025, 4-year halving cycle, we're going to shoot to the moon and Bitcoin's going to hit $200,000 plus? Well, honestly, I really don't think it will. I mean, right now, there's a 97% chance that the Federal Reserve is not going to cut rates at their next meeting. For the May meeting, there's I believe it's about a 70% chance that they're also not going to cut rates. Now, maybe that'll be adjusted after the next CPI report. I wouldn't be surprised. But as of right now, the next 2 Fed meetings, they are most likely not going to cut rates. And it's not like there's a meeting every month. There's scattered throughout the year, every month and a half or so. And so we're running out of time. As far as, you know, a 25 basis point rate cut in June would not have that much of an effect on a potential outlook of things peaking in 2025. But the reason why I'm bringing this up, the entire reason is simply to put it on your radar and for you to think through, what does that kind of an effect have on your general outlook? What does a potential accelerated rate cut, many rate cuts, have on your outlook? Does that make you more bullish short term? Does it make you more bullish medium term? Or does it make you bearish? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section of this video. Let me know what you're thinking.